Hello, and welcome to Plant-Based Milk Options, our first webinar in our webinar series for this program year. I'm Jen Reardon, and I'm the Western Region Coordinator. Today's objectives for the webinar include naming common plant-based milk products, learning how common plant-based milk products are made, comparing plant-based milks and cow's milk, nutrition facts and ingredients, comparing added sugars between plain and flavored plant-based milks and dairy products, and discovering other considerations when choosing and cooking with plant-based milk products. Before we go any further, you'll want to make sure that you've printed out the two handouts that are your teaching tools for this webinar, and you'll need to use them for some comparison activities further along in the webinar. There's also a file for the slides for this webinar if you'd like to print that out for future reference. Okay, we're going to start by watching this milk tasting video. It's a funny video from BuzzFeed, and it shows people trying different types of plant-based and non-cow-based milks and what their reactions to these milks are.
Puppy came for the milk taste test. I've had many types of milk, but I've never had dog's milk.
I would never drink a glass of milk. Oh, I would.
I drink milk every day. You like milk?
It's sort of milk kind of like 60. I drink a lot of soy milk.
You guys party?
It'll be good to find out if I'm like a dollar.
It smells like a barn.
This one's heavier.
There you go.
Oh my god. Something really depressed produced this milk.
I do think goats are also weirdly like the children and spawn of Satan. It's got that bitterness to it that like goat cheese has. Have you seen a goat eye up close? Their pupils are rectangular.
I can't do it again. I can't drink anymore. This is goat's milk, and it's very good. I just never wanted to lick a goat.
It almost smells like cookie dough.
Oh, it smells kind of sweet.
Yeah, fruity.
Did you milk the teacher of fruit that?
So sweet. Ooh.
It tastes like a melted soft serve that's been diluted twice.
What about this is milk? White.
Soy water, cane sugar, vanilla extract. That gets the vanilla taste. They take this.
Flaxseed milk? I like it.
Delicious. I drink more.
I don't like this smell.
This smells like another animal milk. Smells cheesy.
Yeah.
I got a chunk immediately.
Oh!
I didn't like it.
Nope.
I mean, it doesn't taste bad, but you saying that you had a chunk means I'm done.
This tastes like liquid mac and cheese.
There's a certain distant staleness to
I
that.
didn't know sheep could milk. I mean, it makes sense. They have babies, but like...
I don't think I like milk. I came into this test loving milk. You hated milk, and now I hate milk. I find no milk.
It looks almost like white paint.
I don't have any floaters.
This one smells heavy.
What is this?
Not for me. No.
It tastes like a corn husk.
It tastes like grass.
Tastes like grass.
There's a millisecond for which it is okay. Then there's some horrible woodish taste.
It's weird. It has like a texture to it.
There's no way this will get you high, right?
That's a no for the Heptanol.
First, I'm amazed at their ability to make milk out of anything.
When we were kids, we only had one milk. Came from the cow.
My question is, how competitive is the fake milk industry? I don't know. I guess I'll stick to like soy milk. No, like there seems to be just like a lot of different companies. Are they neck and neck? Who's on top?
This is the milk you drink after a hard day's work. You come home, you stand over your fireplace, you swirl the milk in a tumbler. You regret your life decisions. Why you married Barbara so young.
And you drink this milk.
Puppy pig.
Okay, so that is an interesting little video to watch. Past, I have done taste tests with staff of some different plant-based milks, not goat and not sheep milk, and we've tasted the unsweetened or unflavored variety of a number of milks to get a sense of what they taste like, what do we like, what don't we like. So it's definitely an interesting thing to do if they are not foods that typically are part of your diet. Okay, so some common plant-based milk products include soy milk, rice milk, almond milk, coconut milk beverage, and hemp milk. And these are the plant-based milks that we'll discuss today in our webinar. There are other types of plant-based milks out there that we're not covering, and just like someone in that video said, it seems like there's a new milk that comes out every week, and you know, who comes up with these things? So, okay, so how are plant-based milks made? Well, obviously they're made in a commercial setting because we can buy them in a grocery store. And you can also make them at home with simple ingredients or with kits that you can buy on the internet that are specifically sold for making a particular type of plant-based milk. So the top picture in this slide shows someone at home getting ready to make soy milk. So those are soybeans that are soaking, and a cloth to strain it and a blender to blend it all up. In the bottom picture, it's also someone making a plant-based milk, and you can see they've poured the mixture that they blended up into a straining, like a cheesecloth bag, into the funnel, and they're separating out the solids from the liquids. So soy milk is made by soaking soybeans in water for several hours, and then you blend the beans in the water and filter out the solids. Rice milk is made from boiled rice, brown rice syrup, and brown rice starch, and many times there's a thickening agent that's added because rice milk is really thin on its own. Many times also rice milk is sweetened, and some manufacturers use vanilla to make it taste more like cow's milk. We also have almond milk that we're talking about today, and the almonds are toasted and then ground and blended with filtered water. And again, the solids are filtered out from the liquid, and what's left is almond milk. So with almond milk, there are some vitamins and minerals that are naturally occurring from the almonds that are included in the milk. And then, of course, without plant-based milk, there's a number of vitamins and minerals that are added to the products. We also have coconut milk beverage, and you don't want to confuse this with the coconut milk that you buy in an aluminum can in the Asian section of the grocery store, and the coconut milk that's often used in Thai or other Indian type of cooking. So coconut milk beverage is going to come in a carton like the other plant-based milks do, and you'll find it refrigerated where the other plant-based milks are available for sale. And again, they take the coconut meat, and they grind it, soak it, strain it, and what's left is coconut milk beverage. Lastly, I've included hemp milk, and hemp milk is made from hemp nuts and water, sweetened with brown rice syrup, and the folks who tried this on the BuzzFeed video did not have a very positive reaction to it. They said it tasted like grass, and that was something that I discovered in my research. Grassy, nutty, some people find it grainy or chalky, and you can usually find hemp seed, if you want to make your own, in a variety of food co-ops or natural food stores. I actually saw it in one of our grocery stores here locally. The top picture in this slide is essentially one of the kits that you can buy online, and this is for a nut milk. So you can see there's a variety of ingredients included in the kit, as well as directions on how to make the different nut milks at home. Okay, so why do people choose plant-based milks? Well, there's a variety of reasons. Some are health reasons. Some people are lactose intolerant, or they may have a milk allergy. And there's also personal preference and personal beliefs that lead people to choose plant-based milks. Some people are concerned with animal welfare issues and how dairy cows may be treated on a farm. Some people heard that a plant-based milk is better for you than cow's milk for a host of reasons. Some people choose plant-based milks because they like the flavor. Others choose the plant-based milks to fit the diet they are following. So if someone's following the paleo diet, coconut milk is an acceptable beverage on that diet. Some people think that plant-based milks are healthier than cow's milk. Some people believe there's more of certain nutrients in the plant-based milk they choose than in cow's milk. And vegans would choose plant-based milks because they don't eat or drink anything that comes from an animal. So let's talk a little bit about cow's milk, and this is really the nutrition gold standard. And it is the information that we're going to compare all our plant-based milks against. So in the dictionary, milk is defined as an opaque white fluid rich in fat and protein secreted by female mammals for the nourishment of their young. For labeling purposes, milk, quote, is often applied to plant-based drinks because it replaces cow's milk and because it looks like cow's milk. So there is, at least not that I could find, any labeling laws or rules about using the term milk if it doesn't come from a cow or a female mammal. So even though they call it soy milk, we know that it's not milk coming from an animal. So cow's milk's the gold standard for nutrition, and we always need to compare our plant-based milk options against the nutrition we find in the cow's milk. So we know cow's milk is a good source of protein, calcium, and other nutrients like vitamin D, which is added to cow's milk that we buy in the store. And really our job here is to help participants to make smart nutrition choices. And that could be smart nutrition choices around plant-based milks or many of the other foods that we teach about. So our job is really to know the key nutrients that we find in milk and being able to compare these key nutrients to those found in plant-based options and to be able to help participants understand the differences in the nutrients between one option and another, and if they're choosing a plant-based milk, is it meeting the nutrition needs for them and their families if they're no longer drinking cow's milk? So let's just review the nutrition facts for 1 cup of cow's milk. So I chose 1% milk. So in 1 cup of 1% milk, there's 110 calories. There's 8 grams of protein. There's 30% of your daily value for calcium, 25% of your daily value for vitamin D, 2.5 grams of total fat, and 12 grams of sugar. And of course, these 12 grams of sugar are naturally occurring, and they come from the lactose that is present in milk. A couple of additional notes. Milk from cows raised on conventional farms has the same nutrition values listed above as the milk from cows raised on organic farms. So essentially there is no difference in the nutrition composition of milk that comes from conventionally raised cows versus milk that comes from organically raised cows. The difference between the conventional milk and the organic milk is the way that the cows are raised and what they are fed over their lifetime on the farm. Another note, raw milk is not safe to drink. And, it crops up every once in a while as being something that becomes popular within a community. And in a lot of the rural counties that I work with, we definitely hear people talking about raw milk. We have a lot of dairy farms in our area, so a lot of people may work on a dairy farm or know someone who has cows, and they may be drinking the milk straight from the farm. When you have raw milk, what it means is that it's not been pasteurized, And pasteurization kills bacteria and viruses that can be harmful to you. And if you don't pasteurize the milk and you drink milk that has some bacteria or virus, you can cause serious illness. People have died from drinking raw milk because of the bacteria or virus that was in that milk. So it's really the safest to buy your milk from the store and drink it pasteurized. Okay, let's compare plant-based milk and cow's milk. So there's nutrients in plant-based milk, and of course they vary greatly depending on the type of beverage. And of course these nutrients are coming from whatever that plant is that the milk was made from. So if we're talking about almond milk, the nutrients in almond milk come from the almonds in addition to perhaps being added to the almond milk. I haven't found a plant-based milk that doesn't have added vitamins or minerals, so you definitely do want to check nutrition facts. So when working with participants, like I had said, our goal is to make sure that they choose a beverage that meets their nutritional needs. So we're going to do our first learning activity, and what I'd like you to do is to take a look at the handout that's titled Unsweetened Dairy and Plant Milk Products. And this is a list of nutrition facts, and there's a chart included in the handout. And the chart has space for you to write down the calories, fat, protein, calcium, vitamin D, and grams of sugar for each of the plant-based and dairy milk that's included in the handout. So stop the webinar, go ahead and complete the chart with all the information that's contained in your handout. And when you finish that chart, restart the webinar. Okay, so what did you find? Which milk was the highest in calories, fat, calcium, vitamin D, protein? How will knowing this information help you when you're working with participants? And as you can see from your comparison, there's an enormous variety in nutrients among these products. And like we do with other foods and beverages, label reading with participants to help them see these differences can really get participants to think about the choices that they're making. And an important thing to remember in this is if they're not choosing cow's milk, what nutrients might they now be lacking by choosing a plant-based milk? And it's going to vary from choice to choice. So you really need to have that conversation with that participant about whatever their plant-based milk choice is. Okay, let's talk about added sugars in plant-based milks. And we know that the 2015-2020 Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends that adults get fewer than 10% of their calories from added sugars. So 10% of calories from added sugars boils down to about 12 teaspoons per day. So if you think about that, 12 teaspoons we know is about what is in a 16-ounce soda. So if you look at the chart on the right, which I took right from the dietary guidelines, it shows us where added sugars come from in adults' diets. And right now, 47% of added sugars come from beverages. And while we might really think about beverages as just like soda and iced tea and sports drinks, when you're talking about sweetened coffee creamer, sweetened milk, or sweetened or flavored plant-based milks, they are sweetened because they have added sugars in them. So it's something that a lot of people really do not consider. So if they pick up a carton of vanilla almond milk, that vanilla flavoring also has sugar added to that product. And it's something that people just don't think about as having sugar in it. So that is one way we also can help participants. to realize the amount of added sugars that they're taking in is thinking about some of these not so obvious sources of added sugars, like sweetened milks. Okay, so now we're going to compare added sugars. So you have a second handout titled Sweetened Dairy and Plant-Based Milk Products Nutrition Facts. And I'd like you to take a look at that now and complete the information in the chart that's included with that handout. Once you've completed the second chart for the sweetened products, I'd like you to compare the grams of sugar and calories between the unsweetened and sweetened or flavored versions of each milk or each plant-based milk product. What do you find? How many added sugars are in products? And is there a difference in the percent calcium or the percent vitamin D between the unsweetened and sweetened versions? Once you've completed this chart and this comparison, you can restart the webinar. Okay, so comparing added sugars. What surprised you most about this comparison? Was there a particular product that you were just really surprised at the amount of added sugars? And just to reiterate, many times I've been with my educators in classes, and participants talk about the fact that they're drinking almond or soy milk, which seem to be the two most popular ones in our area. And when a participant brings that up, it's a good time to discuss unsweetened versus sweetened or flavored versions and how much added sugar there is in the sweetened or flavored version of that plant-based milk. You can also bring it up around sweetened cow's milk. So, you know, getting people to understand that it's actually teaspoons of added sugar in that drink. I'd like to make for everyone is in labels from plant-based and even to your 20 recall kit. When a plant-based milk up in discussion in a class, you have those labels available for people to look at and to discuss. And when you're collecting the 24-hour recall information, I'd suggest that you get in the habit of asking participants if that plant-based milk product is sweetened or unsweetened, so that you can really provide the correct information for that 24-hour recall. So there's some special considerations when you use plant-based milks in cooking. The first one is you can use it 1-to-1 in recipes. So that means if a recipe calls for a cup of milk, you can use 1 cup of the plant-based milk product that you're choosing. You want to heat any plant-based milk products slowly because they scorch easier than milk scorches. Plant-based milks do not freeze well, so they will still be safe to drink, but the quality will be so poor when you thaw out that plant-based milk that it will just be a waste of money. Plant-based milks don't whip or beat well, so you can't make whipped cream to thicken something with. And if you're using a plant-based milk in a custard or pudding, you most likely will need to add a thickener to help the product set. Another consideration, sweetened or flavored plant-based milk beverages will impart the flavor in your food. So you need to think about, what are you using this plant-based milk in? For example, if you're making mashed potatoes and you want to add soy milk instead of cow's milk to your mashed potatoes, you'd probably want to choose the unsweetened variety of the soy milk so that your mashed potatoes don't taste like vanilla or chocolate or whatever other flavored soy milk you might choose. But say you are making a cake with soy milk, and you have the vanilla soy milk in your home, then that would be a good flavor to add to a cake, and it might even enhance the flavor of the cake. So remembering, keeping that in mind as you're using the plant-based milks in your cooking. Okay, so some questions for you. I'd like you to stop the webinar and then answer these questions, and you'll follow up with your regional coordinator about them. So a participant asks if he can freeze the almond milk he got at a food pantry. What advice do you give him? A participant wants to know if any plant-based milks have as much protein as cow's milk. What do you tell her? A participant wants to know how almond milk is made. What do you tell her? A participant asks how she can figure out how much sugar is in her soy milk. How can you help her? And then restart the webinar after you've answered these questions. Okay, so in summary, dairy and plant-based milk products can meet anyone's nutrition needs. Our job is to be informed about plant-based milk alternatives, to have labels available for participant review, and to ask clarifying questions when collecting 24-hour recall data. Also, you're going to want to watch for added sugars in all sweetened dairy and plant-based milk products and have a good idea of how many added teaspoons the increased sugar adds to someone's diet. Plant-based milk products can be used like cow's milk in cooking and baking, but it won't freeze well and the quality will suffer. Okay, so there's some post-webinar follow-up activities for everyone. What I'd like you to do is to discuss with your regional coordinator any questions you have about the nutrition facts and or the ingredients for plant-based milk products that we reviewed, or any that you find on your local shelves. I'd also like you to review your answers to the questions on page 16 with your regional coordinator, and those were the 4 questions about participants asking you questions. Also work with your regional coordinator to obtain labels for a variety of unsweetened and sweetened plant-based milk products so that you have them available for your 24-hour recall kit and for your dairy lessons. And ahead of time, figure out the teaspoons of added sugar in any of the sweetened or flavored products. Explore the stores in towns where your participants shop. Find out what plant-based milk products are available and what they cost. I'm in Batavia, and I know we can get the plant-based milk products in Aldi's, in Walmart, in Target, and in Tops. And lastly, complete the online webinar survey. Thank you for participating today, and we'll see you soon.